All right, let's see if this works. All right, that might have worked perfect. So today, I'm going to be going over more Goosebumps stuff. I'm going to go over my top 5 most underrated and overrated books at the same time. I do this for fun. This isn't professional. But I do enjoy some Goosebumps, as you all know, as you might have known from my ranking of all the original Goosebumps books. But going into reading those, I had some idea of like ones that might be good, might be bad. I looked at other lists and just like general consensus among some people. And I had expectations going into certain ones that weren't met, and I had expectations that were low that were exceeded. So I just thought I'd come on here and make a list for that. So I first want to go over a few honorable mentions for the underrated books. I have one being The Haunted School, which if you watched my previous video, I absolutely love that book. I forgot my other honorable mentions. One dishonorable mention I have, Werewolf of Fever Swamp, was really good, but it just like wasn't special. I don't know. Like I see people rank it in their top 10 sometimes. It just was not a top 10 book. That's a dishonorable mention, overrated. Some more underrated ones. Calling All Creeps is really good. Curse at Camp Cold Lake, I think, doesn't get enough credit. The cover is really great on that one. But any other dishonorable mentions I can think of? Maybe Night of the Living Dummy 2, maybe. Just not the biggest fan of Slappy in general. I do love the third book, though. So yeah, I think that's going to be all the honorable and dishonorable mentions. So we'll start off with, I'm going to alternate. So here's the format, right? I'm going to start off with one, number 5 for one of them, go to number 5 for the other. So it's just alternating back and forth, right? I think we'll start with overrated first, right? So my number 5 on the overrated list is Stay Out of the Basement. Now, a lot of people like this book, and it's a good one. A lot of people prefer like the earlier Goosebumps because it's a little bit more scary and creepy, whatever. Plants just don't do it for me, honestly. Like, the concept is really good, and the twist at the end is good, but I already knew the twist at the end because I read it like way long ago, and I just remembered it. But I just thought this was a little overrated. People talk about it like it's a really good book, which it might be. Dr. Brewer's a good villain, I feel like. Oh, not villain, you get the idea. Casey and Margaret, I mean, all they have to do is just stay out of the basement. They don't. I think it's a little bit silly. But yeah, plants just aren't really, they're never going to do it for me. So I think this book's just slightly overrated. I also read this very early on. I read them in order. And I read this early on, so I might have to give it a reread. Who knows? I read this like 3 years ago. But knowing a twist at the end of a book, like it has to be executed really, really well for it to like hold. And I just don't think it is, right? I think people have this idea in their head. It's one of the early ones, and it's good because of that, and I just disagree. So number 5 on the overrated list, Stay Out of the Basement. Number 5 on the underrated list is Beware the Snowman. So I don't see many people talk about this book. So Jacqueline like lives in Chicago or something, right? Hold on. With her Aunt Greta. And they moved to a place called Sharpia, which is just like Siberia or whatever. Basically, it's what I did, right? And the whole premise of the book is like, there's this like snowman monster that like terrorizes the town, but like nobody talks about it. It's just like unspoken thing, right? This has like notes of Ghost Beach, kind of. Like there's a cave somewhere up top of a mountain, and there's something in it you shouldn't bother, right? The twist at the end, I really didn't know if the snowman was trying to trick Jacqueline or not. Obviously it did, but like it kind of tricked me. Like maybe I'm just too sympathetic. But I thought the story tied in very well. I thought the atmosphere was pretty good for it as well, which they don't do a whole bunch of snow monsters today. R.L. Stine doesn't do a whole bunch of snow monsters. Abominable Snowman in Pasadena, that's not overrated. That's just not that good. But like they go back to Pasadena, and I don't know. This is just the whole time pretty much like in just a remote area. And I think that kind of adds to the spookiness of it, just being in a remote area and nobody really talks about it. That's why I kind of like it. I forget the side characters, but they're good in this one too. And then at the end where they're just like wizards or witches or something like that. I don't know. I forget. This was just underrated. Nobody talks about it, and this is a pretty good one. It's just kind of spooky, right? So we'll move to number 4 on the overrated list. I Live in Your Basement. So this dude Marco, right? Buddy just gets hit in the bed or hit in the head with a softball bat and just has like CTE concussion symptoms the entire book. And he doesn't know what's real and doesn't know what's not. He's hallucinating all this different type of stuff, but it's the same thing over and over again. He hallucinates this like person. It like lives in Marco's basement. I forget the name. And at the end of it, the twist is just Marco's actually the person living in someone's basement, right? It's just silly. I don't think he had a clear direction of where he wanted to go with this. I mean, maybe it has some like grown up ideas of concussions being serious, which is like, I don't think that's just what he was doing at all, right? But it's just bad. I don't think he knew where he was going with it. I don't know how people like this one so much. I do enjoy the cover, Lakers color. But going into this, I didn't have high expectations. I had mid expectations. When you can't meet mid expectations, like tough scenes, right? It's just like flip-flops back and forth the entire time of Marco just like going into consciousness, waking up on a bed or something. Like, it was just boring to read. I read this at night. I just wanted to go to bed instead. Cover is really cool though. I do enjoy the cover. But yeah, storyline, not good. I'm not too sure how people love this book, but maybe I should give it a reread. Somebody might be able to convince me, but that's what I think. So number 4 on the underrated list, this is kind of a funny one, is You Can't Scare Me, right? So the mud monsters aren't really the main villain in this one. The main villain is actually Courtney, who is a total show-off, apparently. So this girl, Courtney, she's just that girl, right? She's her. And she's just like the smartest, the most athletic person in the grade, all this different type of stuff. And Eddie and Hat and their little gang of like 4 people are just pissed at that, right? They're just pissed that this girl's a know-it-all and just try to sabotage her. They try to throw a tarantula on her head. I think this book's like, I'm not going to say relatable because I'm not that much of a hater, but it's like real. Like, these people are just mad that somebody's better than them, and they just try to like sabotage her the entire book. So it gets a tiny bit repetitive. I read this on a plane going to Florida. And I remember thinking like, all right, this could like, we could do one less scene of them trying to sabotage Courtney, right? I think they were a snake, a tarantula, I forget. But, and eventually like they're fine. Oh, they try to scare her with a dog, and the dog ends up like being a friend. They try to scare her with the mud monsters with Eddie's older brother, and eventually, mud monsters are real, but that's like a book or two, or a page or two in the book. But yeah, I just think this is like, it's just a fun one. I don't like, it's a little bit repetitive, but I went in knowing that it would be like mid to like not good, and came out of it and was like, wow, this is actually like, dang it, spilled water. I'm like, this is actually like a pretty decent book. It's fun. I didn't take it that serious. Again, expectations matter when it comes to stuff like this. If I had the expectation this was a really good book, I would have been disappointed, right? But yeah, kind of relatable because they just really be hating on Courtney. Shout out Courtney. But yeah, and Hat is a fun name. I think that's one of the names in here, right? So that's number 4 on the underrated list. This might be controversial. Number 3 on the overrated list, we got Night of the Living Dummy. The first one. Maybe even the second one, but specifically the first one. So Lindy and Chris obviously get Mr. Wood and Slappy. It's been Quillitress dolls. They say the words, and Mr. Wood wakes up, starts terrorizing them. Again, expectations for this. I mean, the cover is iconic. I love the green-ish and like red color, and obviously they do a good job with the dummy in this one, but I just don't like Slappy books all that much. The whole thing where I'm gonna say it makes me uncomfortable. I just dislike it when they like present or do a talent show in front of someone and they just make fun of them. It's really funny, but like, I don't know. I just don't like it that much. I'm not gonna say it feels a bit lazy sometimes, but I'm just not the biggest fan of these books. I do like Mr. Wood and how he's like the center focus of this instead of Slappy. But yeah, Quillitress draws just like don't really do it for me. And again, I had high expectations going into this one and they weren't met. So I don't know. Just wasn't for me. I prefer the third one to the first or the second one, honestly. I feel like the second one was kind of just like a copy paste to the first one, except it's just Slappy. So maybe that's why I just don't like the tandem of them too much. But I do think I like the second one more, if I remember my rankings correctly. I could be wrong, but like this is really a number 3 spot for kind of both of those. So, yep, that's number 3 of the overrated section. Number 3 of the underrated section. As a Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. This book, it's not a Halloween book, but it has a Halloween feel because of scarecrows, right? I think it's summertime, right? And Jody and Mark go to their grandpa and grandpa's, and they have this like worker who's like, I want to say it's the dude of Mice and Men, just not the brightest, right? And his son's there, and things just start going haywire, and obviously grandpa and grandma are just different the last time they were there, and the scarecrows are evil or whatnot. I just remember reading the book and being like, these scarecrows are kind of funny, right? It was creepy in a funny way. They weren't really in your face the entire time. You'd see like Jody be like walking like to the bar, and it was just like at the corner of her eye, see a scarecrow running or something, right? And she didn't think it was scarecrow. She thought it was the other guys playing pranks on her. But yeah, I just think even though I had like above average expectations going into this, and they were met and then surpassed a little bit, but I don't see people really talk enough about this one. I feel like this is a really above average book that is actually kind of creepy a little bit. And again, this is all like contextualized. I am a 24. My birthday was 2 days ago. I was a 24-year-old male, 23-year-old when I was 22-year-old when I was reading this, maybe. So obviously it's not creeping me out actually, but like there's still some creepy parts of it. And I'm just like, ooh, that would scare a kid probably. And maybe me sometimes, you never know. Probably not. But yeah, so I think this is severely underrated. The cover, I hate using this word, I'm not going to actually. The cover is recognizable. So I don't know. It's done well. I do like, I'm not gonna say I have a soft spot, but like remote locations are like kind of cool. Like the kids felt like they couldn't go anywhere. It was just grandpa, grandma, the scarecrows, and the two other guys, right? But yeah, I think that's why I might have enjoyed this so much. And it's number 3 on the underrated list. Now, number 2 on the overrated list is the Monster Blood series. This one sucked specifically, but I knew it was going to suck. But there's 4 Monster Bloods in the first original series. 4. And they're not really that good, any of them, honestly. I mean, my favorite one might be the third one, which I know is like not anybody's favorite when Evan gets big. In the very first one, Andy was like such a good side character, right? Strong, independent, she was smart. And then like she just becomes stupid after this. Evan is stupid, right? Conan, honestly, I like Conan the Barbarian, whatever his name is. Where he just beats the hell out of people. Like, they deserve it, honestly. Like, I just think Evan and Andy are dumb, right? They could have ended it at the second Monster Blood. Could have called it that. But they went for the third one, went for the fourth one. And again, third one's my favorite, but still, they just aren't that good of books, right? Like maybe the first one, like its original idea, not really, but like original idea executed like decently, but it just makes me upset that there's 4 of them. And so I'm just grouping them all together. Like this one, expectations were bad, and it was bad, right? I'm not gonna say it's the worst one. It's one of the worst ones. But I don't, like, he just needed to finish the series. So I think the last 2 books are actually I Live in Your Basement and Monster Blood 4, and I had expectations for them both like being bad, and they were like exceeded. They both were terrible, right? So yeah, Evan, Andy are dumb. I don't like them. I used to like Andy. She's my favorite side character after Monster Blood 1. Kermit is a little funny sometimes. I'll say that. I don't mind me some Kermit because he makes Evan mad. So yeah. Overrated in general, the Monster Blood series. And I would put this at number 1, but I feel like anybody who actually like reads the Goosebumps books, like if you look up lists online or something, you see Monster Blood in lists. But if you like watch videos of people who've actually read the books, they're never in like the top echelon of rankings. So I sound like a nerd right here, and that's okay. I am a nerd. So yeah, overrated, all get out, as all get out. Don't like them that much. And again, the people who actually read the books know that they're not that good. So who's to say they're overrated? I am. Number 2 on my underrated rankings, The Phantom of the Auditorium. This book, I really enjoyed this book. So I did theater in high school. So like theater stuff I always have a soft spot for. And The Phantom of the Auditorium does it really well. I also do enjoy the school settings. The Haunted School being an example of this. I love the Haunted School. I'd argue that's a top 5 Goosebumps book to anybody. But yeah, you know what the story is going to. So Brooke and Zeke, they don't take anything serious, but they take this one play serious because it's brought back after like 70 years of it's a cursed play or whatever. And there's a random new kid that comes about that's like obviously the ghost of the old one, or the ghost of the kid that died. But like they think it's the nighttime janitor playing these pranks or like doing these things, and they're getting blamed for it. Turns out living under this was like a crazy twist. Living under the stage in the auditorium was just like a homeless guy down a random hallway or something like that. It was something just odd. He was pretending to be the nighttime janitor. Which like, if you really think about it, a homeless guy living inside an elementary school pretending to be a janitor is crazy. Like, if you put it in that context, it's really creepy. But yeah, I'm a sucker for like school kind of books. I like the cover. I think it's a unique cover with the coloring, with the pink and purple, and then the Phantom in the middle right there. They do a good job with that. But yeah, I just think my expectations going into it were very mid. So I took a break in between Piano Lessons Can Be Murder and I took a break at one point, and this is one of the first books to write back, and I had like 2 back-to-back ones where I didn't like or something like that, and I really enjoyed this one. Hold on, let me see. No, okay, I lied. This is after Return of the Mummy. This is one of my earlier ones I've read though, and so I really enjoyed it because I didn't have any. I thought it was just going to be mid, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. So, and again, setting matters in this situation. I thought the storyline was cohesive enough. I think he knew what he wanted to do with it the entire time, even though it's easy to read it. I feel like sometimes with Goosebumps books, you know where the story is going instantly, you know what the twist is going to be. And I thought I did, and I was right. But the twist of the nighttime janitor being just a homeless guy under the school is creepy and funny at the same time. Like, why would he do that type of thing? So yeah, really enjoy this book. That is number 2 on the underrated section of my list. Sorry if I flip-flopped them, but you know the order, right? Number 1. Now, this is like kind of controversial, right? Number 1 on my overrated list. I'm gonna do One Day at Horrorland, right? Now, I love Horrorland as a theme park, but I just thought this book was kind of dumb, right? So the beginning of it, they're lost, whatever, that's good. They find this other amusement park called Horrorland, right? They walk out the car, start to go in the park. Their car randomly blows up, right? Instead of being like, oh my gosh, we need to like call someone, we need to do this, we need to do that. They're like, all right, we'll just go to the park and figure it out after. We might as well have fun. I'm telling you, if my car blew up outside of a place called Horrorland that we didn't know existed, like, I'm not staying there. I'm not going to the park, right? I thought that was stupid. At the middle part of the book, where they're just like testing out different things in Horrorland, I enjoy that, right? I do think that's good. When they're actually in there doing the stuff, I enjoy it. The coffin ride is cool with the parents. I thought the beginning of this book was dumb, and I thought the end of the book was really dumb. How you beat the monsters, you pinch them. And this dude, I forgot his name, like Doomslide's cool, but he like pinches people, and that's how they escape. And I do like they escape on a bus, and the horrors try to get them, whatever. And it's a TV show, which is like kind of like a funny twist, but like, I just thought the ending and beginning was like dumb, right? And the expectations going into a book like this are really high. I wanted to be a complete book from start to finish. Those were my expectations, and it just wasn't, right? And you look at all kinds of lists, like online. This is always like top 5. You look on people who actually read the books. This is always like above average, and I don't think it's bad. I thought the middle part of it was very, very good. There's some parts where I think the beginning's good, and ending's good, middle part sucks. I'd much rather the beginning part and ending part be good, right? Bring me in, and then my last thoughts about the book are going to be the ending. So, yeah, middle part was good, but beginning and ending weren't it. So, I do really enjoy. I read the Horrorland books 7 years ago, the first 12, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy the Horrorland books, which might be a little bit. A lot of people don't really enjoy those, I feel like. But kind of like the same thing as Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, like an overarching storyline. I mess with that heavy. So that's why I think the actual Horrorland series is pretty good. I'm going to reread those soon. But I'm going to read Series 2000 first. But yeah, overrated. I don't get the hype. Well, I do kind of get the hype. It's a cool setting. But reading it as an adult, which maybe, shouldn't be reading 5th graders reading books, or 5th grade books, just didn't hold up as well. So, overrated. Not sorry about it. Argue with Wall or me in the comments. I'm going to move on to the number 1 underrated book. Again, I do feel like The Haunted School is it's my second favorite book. Spoilers for my video. It's my second favorite book behind The Haunted Mask. Haunted Mask is fantastic. I would never say that's overrated. But I do feel like people online give The Haunted School enough credit. I looked up underrated lists, and it pops up a good bit. I also just I don't know. I do feel like it is a pretty good book, and people give it its flowers. So that's not number one. Number one for me, it's a character that shares my same name, Alex. Werewolf Skin. So I have no clue why this isn't seen as the better werewolf book than Werewolf of Fever Swamp, right? So in Werewolf of Fever Swamp, it's like Grady or something, or Brady's the name of the guy. I don't know. You know what's happening. Like, there's obviously a red herring with who's the guy who lives in the woods. You're like, oh, maybe that's the werewolf. No, you know who the werewolf is in that book pretty early on. And if you were smart, you probably realize that it's like Uncle and Aunt Martha. But I think this book ends in a very dark way, right? Which doesn't happen in Goosebumps books too often. Well, like the twist at the end is like it's a cliffhanger, dark way to end it, right? A cliffhanger, like whatever, like the headless ghost where they're actually ghosts the whole time. But that's not real lasting impact, right? But like this, like Alex gets turned into a werewolf. Like that sucks. That's not a cliffhanger. He has to live with that the rest of his life now. I do think, again, the setting where it's like in a very small town. And of course, if you were smarter than me, you could have figured out the uncle and the aunt were the werewolves from the jump. I didn't know, right? So I figured it out eventually. I didn't figure it out super late, but I figured it out later and probably should have. Wolf Creek's a cool name too. What's Alex's friend's name? Alex's friend's name is actually really cool. But she turns out to be a werewolf too. So I don't know. Just twists in this one were good. The setting of it just reminds me of like random small town in like West Virginia, Ohio. So like I don't know. I do really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed how they had to put on the werewolf skin. It's different than like normal werewolf, and it's like kind of like every night's thing. And I don't know. It just was really good. The setting was really good. The storyline was cohesive. It was put together well. The ending went with pretty well as well. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know why people don't talk about this one. This is better than Werewolf of Fever Swamp. People who disagree with me, give both of them a read, please. The other Werewolf of Fever Swamp, I guess does that guy turn into a werewolf? I think he does, but it's like in a happy way, right? Like like he gets to go out with his dog and start hunting at night, right? Like that's not what a werewolf's supposed to be. You're supposed to be pissed that you're a werewolf. Well, I mean, like if I was superpowers, I wouldn't mind, but like, I don't know. This was definitely just like a creepier situation than Werewolf of Fever Swamp, and I didn't have high expectations going into it because people don't talk about it that much, but it was really, really good. Which it came after. What did it come after? The Haunted Mask? Or not the Haunted School? It came right after the Haunted School, right? So it went Curse at Camp Cold Lake, Best Friends Invisible, Deep Trouble 2, Haunted School. So I had 2 back-to-back bangers. I was coming off the Haunted School and was like, wow, that's one of my favorite books. And I still really enjoyed this book, right? I read them back-to-back nights. So just a banger of a book. Read it sometime if you can't. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the overrated and underrated Goosebumps books that I think from the original series. We'll maybe do this for Series 2000. Maybe just do like a top 5. I don't know. Whatever. I'll figure it out. You don't want to hear me to babble. Well,